So in February of this year, um, I was dealing with a lot of stress, anxiety and stress, some work-related stuff, things going on at home, just a bunch of things I was dealing with at the time, a lot of stress going on in my life, and I got a cold. So my kid and I both had a upper respiratory infection, sinus infection going on, and it really just kind of knocked me down, and I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, let me go get tested for COVID or something. Maybe it's COVID or the flu, and both came back negative, but I kept on getting sicker and sicker. Got to the point where it was a Friday morning. I could not get up from bed. I could not do anything, and I asked my daughter to call my mom. My husband had already left for work earlier that day, and I asked her to call my mom and let her know to come over to take care of her because I wasn't able to. And my mom came over and she's like, "You've got to go to the ER." And I was like, "Oh no, I'll just go to the doctor." So went to go see my physician, and he was like, "You really need to go to an ER." And of course, I am stubborn, right? So I was like, okay, well, I won't go to the ER because it's crowded, and I'll go to the one like further down. I'll go to the standalone one. It's nicer. I don't know that it matters what the ER looks like when you're that sick, but So he made my husband promise that I was going straight to the ER. He called ahead and let the ER know that I was coming. I got to the ER. I mean, at this point, like, I needed assistance to get up and walk. I was so weak, and I couldn't do anything. And we got to the ER, and the triage nurse is like, "Oh, you're the one that the doctor called about." And she immediately takes me to the back, and she's like, "Yeah, she's septic." And I was like, "No, I'm not. What are you talking about?" I was like, "People that are like sick and dying are septic. I'm not." And they're running all sorts of tests, like blood work and EKGs. Like, my heart rate was erratic. It was crazy. I keep on hearing all these things being said, and I was like, okay. I had been texting with my pastors that day, and I just text her and said, "Hey, pray for me. In the ER," and they said I'm going to ICU. So I spend the next 4 days in ICU with a whole list of things that were wrong with me. By the point I had made it to the hospital ICU, I had a DKA. I am a diabetic, and I was in DKA. I had sepsis. My organs had already begun to shut down. My body was fighting a few infections, and it just couldn't handle it. The amount of stress I was under, and the infections and the diabetes, it was just kind of the perfect storm, and my body just couldn't fight it off, and it started shutting down. That was scary, really scary, as a mom and as a wife, as a daughter, as anyone that loved someone, to hear the things that were being said about me. I'm sorry, I got a little emotional, but to hear the way the doctors were talking and the nurses, and that stuff was scary, but I had this peace. I knew that God was with me in that moment, and that I was gonna get through it. I knew it was gonna be okay, and you know, did have great medical professionals taking care of me, and God just worked it out. A couple of days later, I actually walked out of ICU. I mean, I was released, but I walked out of there. I didn't leave ICU in a wheelchair or go into my car. I actually walked out. And it was so cool to see like how God had turned things around in just a matter of days, after 4 days, and I just felt so much better. But all of that led me to make some real decisions. I feel like it was really a wake-up call. Like God really wanted me to pay attention to some things and to realize that things that are important. So at that point, talked it over with my husband and we prayed about it, but decided that it was best for me to be at home and to focus on my health, on getting healthy, and being present for my family, which is what basically I'm called to do as a wife and a mom, right? So it was at that point I made the decision to leave ministry that I love, that I've been a part of for over 16 years, and to just I guess for the first time in my life, kind of prioritize my health. I know you always, when you're on an airplane, you hear like, put on your oxygen mask first before you put on your kids or your neighbors, and man, it's so true. It is so true that you should first get yourself healthy so that you can help others. I mean, I love helping others. It's a passion of mine, right? Whether I'm cooking a meal for someone, I'm praying for someone, or helping someone out, I love to do that. But before I'm able to do those things, I have to make sure that I'm healthy, and that's what I've been working on. I've been working on getting me healthy, and I just, I guess my advice for others, my takeaway is take care of yourself. It's okay to prioritize you and your health. Of course, God's always first in our lives, and our family is super important, but we have to take care of ourselves in order to be any good for anyone else. So that's just my short testimony for now.